If you're on the median Australian income of $65,000 a year and you have $0 in savings, I'm going to show you in this video how you can save for your first deposit for your first property within the next 2 years. Let's assume on January 1, you start with $0 in your bank account, you earn $65,000 a year, and of that $65,000 a year, you pay 20% of that in tax. You end up with $52,000 a year net income. Now let's assume 30% of that $52,000 or that $1,000 a week, 30% of that, so $300 a week, goes to your fixed living expenses like rent. $300 a week, which means you'd be living in a share house or something like that. So gone, that $300 is gone. Another $300 or $330 to be exact goes to your food and all the rest of it. So that's gone as well. And then the last $330 of your $1,000 a week goes to savings. And let's assume that you have a direct transfer that goes out every single week of $330 over 52 weeks of the year. You'd end up with just over $16,000 in savings. That's assuming you start January 1 and you finish 31st of December next year, you will have over $16,000 in savings if you save over $330 per week. That's the first year done. Now let's assume you do that for another year. Same thing, 30%, 30%, 30%, $330 a week goes to your savings. You end up with another $16,000. So by the end of 2026, you would have $32,000 in savings, which is $32,000 more than you have starting January 1, and you have enough money now to buy your first asset. So if you're 18 years old now, you'd have enough money to buy your property at 20. If you're 35 right now, you'd have enough money to buy your first property at 37. If you're 55 right now, you'd have enough money to buy your first property at 57. If you are a first home buyer based on your $65,000 in income and a bank lending you about 6 times your income, you could borrow about $350,000 to $400,000. Now I know what people are going to say, where do you buy a property for that amount of money? You go out there and you find one. There's lots of properties out there, you just got to look for them. You could buy that property with a 5% deposit, which would be a $20,000 deposit or thereabouts. You would pay no lender's mortgage insurance and you would pay no stamp duty, and you would also then be left with about $10,000 to $15,000 to have as a buffer for an emergency. So within 2 years, going from $0 on $65,000 a year, which is the median income in Australia, you've saved your first deposit, you've been strict with your budgeting, and you now have your asset growing in the market at a much faster rate than you can save, and probably at a faster rate than you're actually earning, and you've got your wealth creation for the future completely set up. So there's no reason why you can't do that if that is you.